Pat with Pat's 2 cents, God's Church of Love member Anthony will be speaking on death during the holidays.
When we think about death as a believer, is it that they were saved and they accepted Christ? Was it that they were in pain? Or for the non-believer, they would think they're just in a better place. Well, I'm here to tell you that death is not the end. Death is not to be feared for the believer. There's a story that goes with when you're talking to somebody and they're a non-believer and you get onto the serious conversation of death and they want to try to debate with you. There's no debate with death. It is entitled, it will happen to everybody, no matter what, because it's appointed to us as believers. So I'm going to open up with 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 55. O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting? We have, as believers, we have victory over death because we have a Redeemer. We have Christ. For a non-believer, they're the ones that experience a lot of torment. They're the ones that will have eternal torment for the rest of their days. As a believer, you have peace, prosperity, love. You're with the presence, because to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Okay? So I'm going to explain to you, there is different times a year that people pass away. One being the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, even on Valentine's Day, when you wouldn't even think. And there's multiple reasons why. And the one reason for during the holidays, especially Christmas, is because of the cold inclement weather. The weather takes place wreaks havoc on the body.
That's right.
Causes your vessel to break down, causes your vessel to become weak. And what you experience during the holidays is a lot of elderly folks that will pass away because their bodies cannot keep up and adapt to the cold and then it being hot. During the summertime, that's when you see elderly still passing away because their bodies cannot cool down. But you mostly see a lot of younger folks, teenagers, younger people, 20s, 30s, dying because they're out wakeboarding, they're out on the water, they're surfing, they're drowning, they're consuming alcohol. These are all different prospects that have to do with death. Death is not the end, and it's not the final frontier. Okay? So, when we think about death, it happens. Your loved ones. You find yourself in a bad spot. You're in a bad place emotionally. You're having a hard time letting go. But for the believer, you want that person to pass because you know that their time is very near. There's different stages of dying. There's the most common of the death rattle that everybody hears about. That's just gurgling in the system. That's the mucus making its clearing, basically clearing your throat so that you can take your last few breaths. Okay? So what happens at the time of death? Is the person cognitive and understanding what's going on? Or has their soul already left the body? Because death is not meant to be painful for the believer. It's meant to be painful for the non-believer. Because at that moment of death, as you are taking your last few breaths, you will end up either having a smile on your face or a frown on your face and being unhappy with the decisions that you made in life. One thing I like to call, I carry fire insurance, and the reason why I have fire insurance is because whether I'm right or I'm wrong in my beliefs, whether God does exist or he doesn't, I don't want to find out the wrong way. I don't want to find out the hard way and be separated from the Lord. I'm going to read to you another scripture. Okay, let me see. Where was it? See. For 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 9. They will be punished with external destruction, eternal destruction, forever separated from the Lord and from his glorious power. When he comes on that day, he will receive glory from his holy people, praise from all who believe. If you're not a believer, you're not going to have praise. You're not going to have the Lord on your side. And I kind of question, do you know when you're going to die? Do you know that next second is guaranteed? Because none of us do. None of us don't even know when the Lord's coming back. But we sit happily, patiently, waiting, thinking, what is it going to be like? Well, for us that are believers, we know that when we're caught up in the rapture, we as a church, as believers, are not going to feel any pain, and it'll be in the blink and twinkling of an eye. So quick, quicker than the speed of light, which nothing in this solar system, not even a black hole, can move faster than. Light moves faster, but your spirit and your soul that you command back to God moves faster than anything. So let's get back to the non-believers. Non-believers, what happens to them? They have a frown on their face. They're unhappy. Their bodies are very restless. They're not comfortable because they're being, in the last few seconds of them living, their body's going through a chemical change. The body's shutting down. Organs are shutting down. Now, to a non-believer, and I looked this up earlier, a non-believer believes that it's a chemical imbalance, the body's just wrestling, and that's all there is to it. And then they're reminded of loved ones to help comfort that scene of death. But as a believer, we know what that scene of death is not for us. As a believer, it's comfortable, it's peaceful. People will pass peacefully when they're a believer. I learned all this on my short time as an aftercare person, taking care of people after they've passed on. I've experienced and witnessed people pass away right in front of me, whether being believer or non-believer. And I'm going to tell you a story, and this is a true story, and I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible with this, because this is my true testimony of what happened. My grandfather, that I loved for so many years, passed away. 23 brain tumors. I looked up to this man because no matter what, he still continued fighting. The day we found out he had cancer, we did what we had to do. I had a friend, which is no longer with us, that was in part of this church, Lynette, stood there side by side with me. And my grandfather never wanted to hear anything about God, nothing, couldn't talk about church at home, nothing. To see that man on his deathbed, not even 1 month before dying, while he was in his last part of his cognitive mind, accepted Christ, which blew me away as a believer, strengthened my relationship with the Lord, because I could see that it happens to just anybody. Anybody at any point in any time, even to your last breath, you can still accept Christ. I watched this man die peacefully at home. Instead of being in pain, which we thought he was, because his body was going through the chemical changes that show signs of pain, he was never in any pain. The Lord took that from them. The Lord took all that pain, and his last seconds of him gripping my hand and my mom's hand was so spectacular to watch him sit up, and it freaked my mom out. It scared me, scared everybody that was in the room. But as someone that's worked in the industry, I understood what that meant. That's the body's last movement. That's the body relaxing. So in closing with this, let me find this last scripture here. Oh, where was it? Romans 8. Let me look real quick. Romans 8. Okay. Romans 8:39. Let's see. Romans 8, verse 38. And I am convinced that nothing can ever separate us from God's love, neither death nor life, neither the angels nor demons, neither our fears for today or our worries about tomorrow. Not even the powers of hell can separate us from God's love. And I bring this to you as a true testimony. And I ask that everybody please take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and make sure that they're on the right path so that we do not have anybody left behind. Thank you.